This poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with a tiger in its natural habitat. The poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. The poet has tried to explain the condition of animals that are caged by human beings for their own fun. So, let's begin with the explanation, starting with Pragya.
Morning, all of you. This is Pragya Singh of class 10th C. I believe in inspiration and I believe in searching for it. I would like to tell you something about Leslie Norris, the author of The Tiger in the Zoo. Leslie Norris was born in Myther Tydfil, South Wales. He was 19 years old. He joined the Royal Air Force during the Second World War. In free time, he wrote poems and earned his money by being an unofficial worker for the local government. Then, he joined worked as a teacher until 1974. From 1974 he combined full-time writing with residencies at academic institutions in Britain and the United States. Today he considered one of the most Welsh. It referred to Welsh language in the English form Welsh writers of the post-war period. His collection of stories and poems have won many prizes. Thank you everyone.
Now, here you go with the recitation of the poem.
And the title of my poem is A Tiger in the Zoo. So, the poem goes like: He stalks in his vivid strips, the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through the long grass, near the water hole where plum deer pass. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws terrorizing the village. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind the bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. He hears the lark's voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Thank you.
So, let's begin with the explanation.
In the first paragraph, Tiger is in the zoo. He says that the strips on the tiger's body are visible from a far distance. These strips are darker in color than the rest of his body structure. The tiger moves in the cage but can walk only a few steps as cage is small. He walks quietly due to its smooth velvet pads. The tiger is full of anger, but he suppresses it due to his helplessness. Now, in the second paragraph, the poet imagines the life of the tiger in the forest. He describes the other side of the tiger when he is a free animal. The poet says that in the natural habitat, that is the dark forest, the tiger would have been lying in the shadow of the tree or hiding in the long grass to prevent other animals from noticing his government. In this way, he would reach the water hole where all the animals of the forest come to drink water. When a deer would pass through the water hole, he would attack him and have him as a meal for the day.
In the third paragraph, the poet says that if the tiger would be in jungle, he would be exposing its teeth and making sounds with anger around the houses made on the jungle's edge. The tiger would show his white long sharp teeth and long curved nails while moving here and there to scare the villagers. Here, the poet wants to say that if we'll destroy the forest, then tigers and other animals will forcefully come out to the towns and villages for their food. Thus, they will become the cause of terror to humans.
In this para, Now the poet comes to the reality of the tiger that is inside the cage. He says that the tiger is confined in a strong cell which is made of a strong building material. He further says that as the tiger is behind bars, so his cruelty and terror is also behind the bars. He never tries to terrorize the visitors because his power is restricted by the cage. In this para, the tiger hears the sound of the patrolling cars. In the night, the tiger hears the sound of these cars. He then stares at the shining stars with his shining eyes. He is confined in the cage, so he is sad. Therefore, he stares at the stars in the night and tries to divert his thoughts towards.
Hoping that you have understood the poem, I would like to conclude our presentation by summarizing that keeping animals locked up is both ethically and morally wrong. Most zoos are geared to make money by attracting paying visitors while giving no thought to animal welfare. Animal caging has continued over the years, with some enthusiasts taking it as far as killing mother animals to get their young. I am not asking that all caged animals should be gone, but where did these came from? They were brought from their homes in the wild. Humans need civilization, not the animals. They were doing just fine. Ultimately, I and my teammates would like to conclude that most animals are better off in the wild. The jungle is their home, not the cages. Thank you.